What's up, guys? It is Will here, back in. Keco, dude, Keco, you threw up the whole intro, bro. Your fucking surprise face just looked like an emoji, dude. Looked like
Sorry
an emoji.
about that. I wasn't trying to detract. Please, Will. Let's start again. Three,
Okay,
two.
yeah, there we go. Okay, hold on. Okay, we're back. We're back. Let's go. All right, guys. What's up, guys? It is Will here, back again. And we're here for another episode of Lights, Camera, Keco Collects, Natalie G Collects, also in the title this fine evening. We are at, what is it, Friday, August 25th. We really started at 5:15, but we did the re-intro at 5:16. So technically we're still on time. So 5:16 p.m. 2023, August 25th. Guys, we are going to lead into the weekend nice and smooth as always. Give you some good 1/6 scale collecting, maybe some other things if we have time, and talk about some big picture stuff, but also some releases. Actually, InArt is releasing something. So Keco and I may be eating our words. We may be eating our words. It looks pretty damn good. But before we get into our topics, bro, let's address this Avengers level panel. Mr. Keco Collects, bro. How you doing, man? This fine Friday.
I am off to a great start, classy as ever, and we're looking pretty good. As I've told you before, actually, I don't know if I can say this because there might be people watching that I don't want to hear it. We're having a secret gala this Sunday, and it's very limited at my home. And we're only doing 12 placemats this time because for like Christmas before we did like 24 or something like that.
Keco, is it a queue or a lottery system?
Oh, yeah. It definitely was lottery.
We need one of the two, right? We need to know.
Absolutely. So
do they have to RSVP?
Yes, 100%. Okay, there you go. And it's an Italian villa theme, so think House of Gucci also meets Scarface. So we should be having a lot of fun this weekend. So I've been working very hard getting the yard ready for the garden party and all that, as well as making sure that obviously the collection is situated for that's what people come here to see. So that, and just having a good work week, and overall I'm excited. But yeah, to those people that you're saying, well, I didn't know there was a party going on. If you are watching, then maybe you didn't get the invite. So sorry about that, everybody. There are limited spots available, but you know what? Go ahead and get on that wait list, and we might see you at the next one.
Keco, I need a spot on the wait list, bro, because I didn't even get an invite. Dude, that would have been the time for me to come to October to come to the gala, bro.
Well, we can form another gala. And Will, I promise I have your position held in the queue. Don't worry.
Okay,
we have a place just for you. And make sure to RSVP, buddy.
Nice, dude. I will RSVP, bro. But of course, that pink room, man. Keco has that pink room that I stayed in. It's
nice. It's more salmon, if you want to call it that. But I think I put up a new picture on the wall since the last time you were there, so it's a little more aesthetically pleasing.
I like that room. I thought it was great. I slept perfectly, bro. Slept perfectly. But of course, guys, we have the amazing, the awesome Nat G back in the house. Natalie, is Keco as nice backstage as you thought he would be? I feel like he is. I feel like he's a teddy bear, don't you think?
I mean, he talks about himself a lot.
Yeah, he's pretty. Yeah, he's pretty. Yeah, he's pretty.
That definitely is me. Everyone knows the narcissistic asshole that I am. That's me.
I was over here struggling with my audio issues. I'm like, "Can you hear me?" He's like, "Hold on." And so my car.
He goes like, "I got you.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, he's great. He's great. I'm actually really glad to be here with you guys. So I watch Will's show all the time, and of course I watch Keco as well, because you guys are the dynamic duo most of the time. So it's an honor to be in your presence, Keco.
Yes, Keco. Keco's very much a celebrity.
She's working to get herself in that queue, I can tell.
Yeah, right. She wants to be in that gala queue.
Tell you what, Natalie, you are on the wait list as well. So make sure to watch your emails, because it could convert at any time.
Yeah. Well, they might pause the line. You know what I mean? Like Keco could pause the line, and then it could start things.
Well, all I know is that if shenanigans ensue on Sunday, because depending on when some of my favorite, if Brooke and Jaime, if you're all listening, Brooke, Jaime, if Jaime gets here and it's too out of control, Jaime is going to have to pause the line, because we know that he turns it from 10 to 12.
Yeah, just to give you a heads up, Natalie, Jaime is one of Keco's really good friends who I met when I came to Tennessee. The dude is so cool, but he is wild, dude. He's wild. I loved him, man. He's fucking awesome.
Yeah, we partied in Mexico together, so that gives you an idea. That gives you an idea of just how wild he is.
Yeah, he's pretty wild. But Natalie, it's great to have you back. I know the chat's already popping off in support of Nat G, because Nat, we did the women's live stream, and you absolutely killed it. You and Gina both, and it's good to have you back.
That's awesome. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I see all the chats. Hello, everybody. Nice to see you
absolutely
again.
And that display, Natalie, of course, it looks just as good as it did last time. So it's
Yes, I was so upset. I got the message today that my doors are coming in, and I was like, of course they're coming in. now that I'm going to be on the show on Friday, they're coming in. So
right.
I was like, good. Now I just have a reason to come back. So
yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
And I need Keco. We need some interior decoration tips from Natalie. Look how good that looks behind it. Dude, Keco's house is really nice, though. We'll tell you. I need more tips than he does.
Well, all I can say is that clean white is definitely my vibe. I mean, that's in the collection room. It's all white and gray and things like that. So I'm definitely vibing and feeling that for sure.
I need it looks like an island back there, Natalie. I need an island like that. I need a kitchen.
Oh yeah, we did a lot of renovations not too long ago. I'm trying to get out of the way so you can see it. We did a lot of renovations, and so I had boxed up all of my stuff, which was a pain in the ass because I have a lot of things, and so I had to box everything up so it didn't get dust on it. I have all the details over there, which are still powdered and dust on the top. I'm too short, can't reach them, so they're just going to be dusty on top. No one will know. I don't hang out with tall people. But yeah, so I boxed everything up, and I just recently put it all back on the shelves. I still got to do some organization, but yeah, it's all come along.
Well, it looks great. Well, guys, let's address the chat real quick as quickly as I can. And if we're so happy that everyone's here joining us, we'll get into our first topic. The movie canon said, hello, Will, panel, and fellow collectors. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to you as well. King Killa said, what's up, everyone? Will, I saw Wenwu left your collection. So important distinction. Wenwu and Suit left the collection. However, regular Wenwu, you can see right back there. So that boy is still around. So yes, Wenwu and Suit, I just ran out of space and I couldn't really have duplicates. So I had to sell one.
Did you keep the box though, or did you sell the whole thing?
No, I sold the whole thing. Yeah. Because it would have been tough, Nat. Like if I just sell just the figure without it, it would have lowered the value a lot. So I was like, well, I'll just sell it. So
I mean, that box is pretty badass though.
Yeah, it is, dude. And honestly, yeah, that box with the 10 rings in it, that's the one.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the actual art box.
The art box too. The art box too. But either one, the box with the rings in it and the art box, that's phenomenal, bro. It's a really good accessory and a really good packaging. So Sean Breeze Collectibles, dude, he has an amazing voice. Got to talk to Sean Breeze soon. What's up, collectors? Good to see you, bro. Good to see you. Serafina Lights, good to see you, Serafina. Good to have you back. David D is here. Flash, messy, crazy how time flies. Just 1 year older, dude. Yeah, man. I don't. Is it your birthday today? I don't know if that's what I'm insinuating, but if so, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Christian, formerly Xander, happy Friday. Happy Friday. Luis Jimenez, Benny is here. Dinesh, the man himself, Dinesh is here. Good to see you, Dinesh. Saiful, King Killa. Let's see. We talked about that. David D, Christian. Okay, guys. So there's a lot of comments. I want to get into our first topic. I appreciate you guys all joining. It gets harder and harder to display all the comments, but I try to do what I can. Nonetheless, we have very little releases that have actually been coming out lately. However, there is a company that said, no, Hot Toys is quiet right now, but we are not, right? And that is InArt Collectibles. InArt Collectibles has, you know what? We are going to hit you with that Gandalf. We said, Gandalf is coming in August, right? And they said, this is squad goals right here. This is Gandalf rolling up with the squad. He's rolling deep, right? Gandalf's ready. He's showing off. He's showing the staff, the book, the fireworks, everything. InArt announced a lot of different things here. They updated with the fireworks. They upgraded the inscriptions on the ring. The ring looks really, really good, actually. I forgot he even came with that. I didn't even remember it. This came out pretty nice, actually. I think the hair looks good. The head sculpt looks good. InArt released something pretty good, apparently. We'll see when it gets to collectors' collections. But Keco, should we applaud InArt's efforts here with what they're doing, updating their figures, providing more detailed accessories, communicating? I was pretty happy with this. What do you think? You're muted still. Yeah, you're muted still.
There I am.
There you go.
Hi, how are you?
What's up, dude?
Feel free to go ahead and clip that part out.
No, we're gonna leave it in, bro.
No, I was looking for one of the little memes that I was going to send you because we've talked about this before, and I can't figure out how to get it back to you. Anyway, you remember when we were patting the backs of InArt for doing the bare ass minimum, and I sent you that meme of the guy on the podium biting the metal, shooting the champagne in his face, but he's really at the bottom tier. That's still this. Now, I can't wait for Daniel to hit the threads right now and let us know exactly how we're feeling about InArt. But let's go ahead and give that round of applause for that second release, y'all. Second release. Even though I've not seen anybody with this, actually, outside of the people working here at InArt. So as soon as it starts getting out there, I can't wait to see how it actually turns out in people's hands. All that to say, should we applaud InArt's efforts here? Sure. Why not? I mean, I've shat on them for 18 months. Did they get a win here? Sure. I mean, as I told you, and this may shock some people, I appreciate the Tolkien work. I appreciate the Tolkien lore. It just is not for me. I'm not the biggest Lord of the Rings fan. I've seen them all, but it was during that time where I was like, do I really want to go see Attack of the Clones, or do I want to go see, Lord of the Rings? And I opted for Star Wars and Attack of the Clones. Now, I'm not saying this doesn't look good. Granted, I've not seen it in hand yet, but Is this the InArt quality that everyone has been looking forward to? I certainly hope so, but I will say this. I do applaud the fact, Daniel, are you out there? I do applaud that they wanted to try something with that magnetic rolling eye system. I didn't even know that was a thing. I think that was a surprise to most people. They did not expect them to try to be innovative when it comes to the moving eyes, because there was a little bit of pushback from, they're like, my Joker's cross-eyed or whatever it may be. And so it seems that they were trying to do something new with this figure and possibly other ones. And maybe that's the cause of the delay, is because they were trying to figure out the eye system. So now they went back to the same stick system that the Joker had, and we may get some wobbly, wonky eyes, but I do applaud you for trying to put innovation in. Now, where do we go from here? Is that worthy of you saying, well, we messed up the eyes, it took a little bit longer, here's some shitty fireworks and some mushrooms? That doesn't mean anything to me. I mean, if I was like hyped for, like, I don't know if, did they put like the original picture of him holding like the little the little fireworks? That was one of the,
I think the fireworks were an addition. I don't remember them, but
fireworks and the mushroom is a silly thing. No, when you have a moment like, hey, I just paid $600 for this Gandalf figure, do I want him to hold his staff and sword, or do I want him to hold some fireworks? I mean, let's think about that. It's a nice add-on, cool, right. Yeah, pats on the back, whatever. I'm excited we can get this out of there, because as long as this gets in people's hands, it gives us something to talk about. Because I want, and don't get me wrong, people, I want there to be competition in the 6 scale community. I want them to put out figures, because now that this one is down, we are that much closer than me getting InArt Daenerys revealed and Michael Jackson revealed and released. So yes, we're take another one off. Let's keep going here. So I think I've definitely sold my soul here essentially at this point, because I've never given InArt this much praise. Although I did say once I fixed my Joker's hair, I turned around on that figure in general. This is great. This is undeniably who it is. I think it's a great addition for people that really want a Sir Ian McKellen accurate Gandalf, light years better than Asmus, all that. I mean, it's not even a competition at that point. Some people are going to complain the beard's not long enough. Some people are going to complain the cloak's not long enough. I don't want to see issues, things like that. You're going to have people complained about all the inaccuracies about the Joker, the fact he didn't come with a pencil, everything. Everyone's going to bitch about something. But you have your second release. Let's have some good things. There's going to be problems with this once people start reviewing it. I know there's going to be, and we'll talk about that next week. I can't wait. So with that being said, congratulations everybody that's been waiting on this. Thank you for your patience. Enjoy your fireworks and your mushroom. Let's get on to the next thing. But yes, 2 down, a lot more to go.
Dude, Keco, I absolutely love this, man. I love that this Gandalf is being released like this. Look, apparently what they said was August. They hit August. I got to give them props for that. And again, people, it's funny on both. You get criticism on both sides. Like every once in a while, I'll say, okay, like it's not releasing things fast enough, and then the diehard InArt fans will come after me and be like, oh, Will, you're not being fair. And then I'll say like, oh, InArt's really great, and then the diehard Hot Toys fans will come after me and be like, oh, like well, Hot Toys blah blah blah, and your InArt's only released one figure. I'm like, you can't really win no matter which opinion you offer. So to me, it's like I love InArt. I think they're great. I'm excited for what they do. I have faith in them, but I did want them to release things and be a little more active than they have been in recent times. So that's always a criticism that I've maintained, especially over the last several months. But this Gandalf, I've always been excited for, bro. I think it came out great. I will say I do see a slight decline from proto to final, but I think it's within that reasonable range. We always say like 5 to 10%. I think that's what you're looking at here. I think you're looking at 5% maybe of a decline, which is reasonable.
And I don't think people get that. I don't think people understand how, and maybe it'd be good to, here you go, Will, here's an educational video that you can put on your channel, is do a little bit of a deep dive into how some of these are made, from the casting and the sculpting and things like that, because I think people think that it's literally one person. I don't know. I don't know what people think, but it's going to happen. So to think that it's going to come out perfect all the time, I mean, that you have to put a little bit of realism in there.
Yeah, 100%. And it looks great. I mean, yeah, and I saw a shout out to Oxfather on Collecting Weekly. He was just like, are the pants printed? Do they have XYZ? Like, I'm not that particular about it. Like, I just think, as long as it looks pretty good to me, then it looks good, right? So, but Natalie, I want to let you jump in here. What do you think? I mean, should we applaud InArt's efforts here? Are you pretty happy with what you're seeing? Are you going to pick this up? What are your thoughts?
So by just the concept of them adding something because they couldn't do something, sure, I definitely think that's a win for anyone who bought it, right? I think the the fireworks and the mushroom is a little strange. There's probably about a million things they could have given instead that would have been a better option than fireworks and mushrooms, especially since Keco said like he comes with a staff. I'm always gonna put a staff in his hand and not the thing of mushrooms. But I mean, hey, 4th of July, you can pose him with fireworks. That's cool. Deadpool, I put a little Santa hat on him. And so like every once in a while.
That's a good idea, actually.
4th of July Gandalf, he's festive, but he probably could have came with almost anything else. Maybe I don't even know. I couldn't even say it. I don't really watch, or I don't think I've even seen all the Lord of the Rings. I started watching.
You're not missing anything. You're not missing anything.
No, okay, I'm gonna have to mute both of you because now we got to get you on the Lord. You said I got you on Arthur Morgan. I got to get you on Lord of the Rings.
I tried. I watched the first one. I got about halfway through it. I couldn't really watch it again. But the second one and the third one I ended up watching. I was like, I can't do that first one again. Let's just see what happens. And they were in the same place. They were in the same exact place when I dropped off halfway through the first one. So I feel like I'm good. But he looks so good. He looks really good. I think he looks good. I think from just like likeness, I think he looks just like the actor. I think the beard looks a little off in some of them. They all look different, so everyone will have a unique one, that's for sure. Some are gonna have a really wide beard, some are gonna have the very curly beard, some of them look a little fuzzy. So Keco, if you think your Joker was a little fuzzy or fizzy,
luckily Keco's not getting this one.
I think he learned his lesson.
Yeah. Well, honestly, did you see Keco fixed his? He fixed his Joker.
Very good, very good. I'm happy for you.
Yeah,
I'm happy. So I have a feeling that like the longer the hair, the easier it is to fix or to style. So I don't know how well it's going to work when they get really short hair. I already saw that with the Pattinson, whatever Batman. What's his name? Bruce Wayne.
Bruce Wayne.
With just the regular Bruce Wayne. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it looks really good. I think we should applaud their efforts because at the end of the day, they didn't have to do anything. They could have just said, oh, well, eyes are going to move the old way. I really appreciate their level of communication, if anything. So, and whoever wrote their issued statement, either, like you said, it was either Chat GPT or it was like someone with a degree in that kind of thing.
It certainly sounded like Chat GPT a little bit. Like,
I mean, they did say to improve your gaming experience.
Yeah, and there were a couple things in there. I was like, yeah, but hey, use AI to your benefit.
And you know how I feel about companies out there using Chat GPT to make their press releases. I'm not exactly excited about that. Need a little more authenticity, people.
You can't please them all.
Yeah, it's true.
It's like, I want them to communicate with me, but I want them to do it authentically.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
but I mean,
I do applaud it. I think that it was really good, especially the fact that they openly admitted, like, hey, we were having QC problems, and that's a big problem in the community. I think a lot of people, they would rather wait than get a Joker that leans and falls. So letting you know, hey, we had to switch because of that. It shows that they're taking the extra care into their QC. And I think that's what sets them apart, right? If I was just so I do have. Last stream, I said I don't collect anything DC. I lied. I do have a Flash figure. So the Flash is my favorite character for DC. I just like the Flash in general. I used to watch it as a kid. That was my first statue. I have the Sideshow premium format Flash. I've got the CW Flash. I don't like Ezra's Flash, not because of him. Just I don't like the costume. But anyway, I digress. So that figure, Hot Toys should not have passed that through. They tried to do shading on the sides of his rib cage, and instead it was just a zigzag. It literally is a printed zigzag instead of shading. That's so lazy. And I love that character, so I bought it anyway, but I'm really disappointed with it. And I don't think that InArt would pass something through like that. They would stop. They'd rather let it be delayed. They'd rather, put flaps along the side of the chest if they couldn't figure that out. And I think that's what they did here. So I give them at least that kind of applause.
Yeah, and that's a huge thing, Nat. No doubt about it. I will say though, and someone pointed out in the chat, like the bases, the magnetic bases. This is not something that InArt has really said anything about because I'm guessing they just don't really see it as a problem. Like I'm assuming that that's my only assumption, right? Because I think some people think it's it's posing incorrectly, or maybe you don't have the feet in the right spot. I mean, look. Maybe I'm posing that Joker incorrectly. I can just tell you, I don't trust that magnetic base. That's just my opinion. That's my perspective. I wouldn't use it. Some people have used it with perfectly good success. I wouldn't do it. It just gives me a little bit of pause and hesitation. It makes me super nervous. When I look at this Gandalf, I love the base. That's the problem with InArt. Like, you're paying for the base and the base is awesome, but it's like, I don't know how difficult it would be to like put a little peg in there that you could cover with like a piece of plastic or whatever material. And then you could put a crotch grabber into it, or you could cover it if you want to use the magnetic portion. To me, like, I don't understand why they have no interest in doing that. But, it just, to me, it's like, I feel like I'm very much rolling the dice with these bases unless this one has been corrected, unless they have a bigger magnet across the whole base. That I think would be, but I guess they don't seem to think it's a problem.
Have you seen the people that modded their Joker bases?
I saw they put a bigger they cut
it.
They basically
it's pretty simple at that point.
Yeah, exactly, and put a bigger magnet underneath, and it supposedly works great.
But I think if they would have done that, they would have announced it. They announced the magnetic rolling eyeball, right? I think they would have said, "Hey, guess what we put in here? It won't lean over anymore."
Exactly.
So
and you know
sure
what was super interesting, Natalie and Keco, is the thing with the eyes. Like Keco was bringing up the thing with the eyes. Most people, including myself, were like, "Oh, I forgot it had that feature," right? Like, most people didn't really care. They were like, "As long as I can move the eyes and it's not difficult, I don't give a fuck what you call it. Like, if it's magnetic movable eyes or a peg in the back, whatever." And I'm just happy that they, QC'd it, and they were just like, you know what, this is not going to work. Let's just go the standard route and make it good. So that's what I would say. I mean, I got to give them credit for that too. So I think this is a W for InArt. Like, I really got to give them a lot of credit here. I think they did a good job, it looks like. I think they communicated in the end, and, they were honest about it. So I think this is a win. So happy to pick this one up. Kit's going to be shipping mine hopefully sometime in the near future. I'm very excited about that. And I know some people were looking for it. Kit, I'm hoping we'll have more. I don't know. I mean, we're just gonna have to see if he gets more. But as of now, I've not heard anything. So keep your eyes out on that one, guys. That said, guys, I want to ask the question here because, and again, no spoilers whatsoever. But I want to bring up the hot topic right now. This is Ahsoka, right? So Ahsoka dropped, I think it was Tuesday, right? Tuesday night.
Prime time, baby.
Yeah, Tuesday prime time. They moved it up, Keco. They were like, you know what? We're confident in this thing. We're not going to drop it at midnight or 3 a.m. or whatever like they used to. We're going to drop it prime time, baby. So Ahsoka has dropped. Of course, we got Sabine. We got some other characters. These were in the trailer, so no spoilers whatsoever. But I watched the first 2 episodes. I meant to record a reel about it. I think I'm still going to. Maybe I'll record it tonight. Keco, we don't have to talk about the show too much, maybe just in passing, but I was like, okay with it. I was like, I think it was good. And I mean, it wasn't super thrilling to me or whatever, but I'm just wondering, Keco, are there any figures in this line that are going to be worth collecting to you? What do you think? How do you think this is going to shake out for collectors?
This is the biggest complaint that some people are saying is that, once we'll keep the spoilers out. It's only been 3 or 4 days. I know some people wait until the weekend to watch it. Fine. I respect that. Right. But the biggest issue a lot of people are having is they're saying you shouldn't have to watch supplemental content to enjoy stuff. And I've said that before too. You shouldn't have to watch 58,000 shows to understand where you're at in the movie or another show. And a lot of people are like, okay, this is great. Who are these people? I've never seen Rebels. I'm not watching cartoons, blah, 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 blah. I get that. So there's a little bit of pushback because the first episode literally was kind of an epilogue and saying, hey, here's how we got to where we are. Because I think it's in the trailers. Everyone knows that. I mean, the scene right there that it's showing where Sabine and Ahsoka, that's the last scene in Rebels. So they send the first episode getting you to that moment. And you're like, oh, so that's what's happened to lead up to this. And as a fan of Rebels and these characters, the diehards, if you want to call it that, love all this shit. They think it's incredible. It's groundbreaking. I'm not going to go that far yet. I'm the hardest when it comes to Star Wars. Like everyone always says, no one hates Star Wars more than Star Wars fans. That's me. I mean, it comes down to that, is that it is such a revered franchise and IP that I wanted it treated respectfully. I did an entire thread about this show on Threads. I know that sounds silly.
On Threads?
It actually, believe it or not, I tried to copy it over from Twitter and X and put it on Threads, and it crashed, and I couldn't upload Threads. So go figure. But no, I did like a tweet thread or an X thread, whatever you want to call that, and explaining why I was hopeful for this, and that if this ends up tanking, I'm done at this point, because I will go back to the Lucas 6 original films, even do away at The Mandalorian and Rogue One and Andor, because I'll like, sorry, you messed it up. But I say all that to say, this is for the diehards because you know all these characters from previous things. So if you're coming into episode 1, you're like, who are these people and things like that? Because I'm sitting there, doing the Leo meme, I'm talking about the point that was me the entire time. Okay. So there was a lot of things like even seeing like the space whales in the clouds. I know that's not a spoiler. Those are in the trailers. I'm like, that type of thing. That was exciting to me. So let's answer the question. Now that we did all the backstory and got all that out of the way, will there be things from this line worth collecting? I think yes, because undoubtedly there are some really, really cool characters that they've already established in the Ghost Crew and things like that. People that are out there just looking for really cool shelf presence. All of Dave Filoni's creatures and characters have a shelf presence. I mean, you look at the colors that are on Sabine. You look at Hera, who's all green. You look at Ahsoka, who's all orange. You look at Zeb, who's all purple. All those things will pop on a shelf 100%. And with the Rebels backstory, and this is one thing I said, is that because Dave Filoni is so much of a narcissist, I would think that there is no way he would allow his characters to be embarrassed in a show like this. All that to say, yes, the Mandalorian shit the bed and have no idea what happened in season 3. That's all, folks. We talked about that. I don't think Dave would let that happen to his characters. He's been extremely protective of Ahsoka ever since he created her. People give him a weird rap saying he's got some weird fetish for this orange girl. Who knows? I don't know. But I think the line will be successful because I think the show will be successful. I think by the time it gets going, because when the big blue bitch gets in there, Thrawn, that's what everybody wants because he has been around longer than any of these characters as a legacy character from Heir to the Empire. That is what's going to bring the diehards back. And if they do that and nail that right, 100%, people will be like, oh man, Star Wars is back. But if not, it's going to crash and burn.
Well, because think of it like this, Keco. Everyone for the longest time said they wanted Kang until Ant-Man sucked ass. And then at that point, everyone was like, well, I don't give a fuck about Kang, right? But they all wanted a Kang figure. So what if this show sucks?
If they neuter Thrawn, it is over.
Right. If this show sucks, and even though Thrawn's good, like say it's Lars Mikkelsen, right? Say Lars Mikkelsen's really good in the role, but it's just like the show ends up not really being that great. People would be like, like that's what's going to happen. Like, he's been built up this whole time, Thrawn. But if if the show doesn't stick the landing, then people are going to bail.
I mean, that's 100% great reference to Kang because everyone's like, oh, Kang, the Conqueror, I'm so scared. And then he gets taken out by ants. Spoiler. And they're like, oh man, this is it. And yeah, I mean, because if that happens, I can see that being a huge problem. But I will say, I am all in on the character and the figures of the dynamic duo of Baylan and Shin. They are the best part of the show so far. I think they are awesome. There's mysteriousness about them. There is intrigue. And for some reason, why is Shin Elizabeth Olsen with a lightsaber at this point? Because that's the way I view her. So yeah, I'm all in on the Shin train.
Yeah, she was pretty dope. I will say, Nat, before I let you jump in, like the one thing, Keco, I did kind of feel, I've not watched Rebels at all, and I feel like maybe the show they did say, to be clear, they did say that it was a sequel to Rebels, basically. So they have been very clear about that. So, but really jumping into the show, it was kind of like, I feel like I'm a little bit
behind. That's why they did 2 episodes. They did like the first episode, like, hey, here's Rebels sequel, here's all these characters, and then I really enjoyed the second episode because it was faster paced, it was a little bit shorter, and now the story's going, and I'm fine with that. I think people will you got 6 more episodes to really nail this thing. I think they're going to do a good job.
I'm excited to see where it goes. But Natalie, did you watch the episodes? What do you think about the Ahsoka line for collectors?
I did watch them. I haven't seen Rebels, but it made me want to watch the Rebels. So I've watched pretty much everything up until I haven't watched Andor, and I haven't watched Rebels or the anime series that they did. But I've watched Clone Wars. I'm at the last season of that. I've watched Bad Batch, which is their best, in my opinion. I know not a lot of people are. I think it's their best.
No, I'm with you on that. I've said that.
You know what? I'm going to say it right now. The second that Wrecker, he's my favorite guy. I love him so much. I have him on pre-order. The second he comes in, I'm going to be back on this show. All right. I don't care if I come back. Never again. That will be the day that I'm here. I'm going to be
He's
here.
Back.
Because I absolutely love that show. But I've watched all of that, and I didn't watch Rebels because it looked a little cartoony. Watching this, I think there's going to be a lot of people that really are going to collect whatever comes from this because they are so tied to that Rebels. I'm sure there's a lot of fans of it, just like the Clone Wars. We have a whole line of Clone Wars that they've made into real life action. This is going to be a very, they're going to be able to take those Clone Wars animation and now Rebels animation, but make it that art style, that real life figure display. As far as Ahsoka, I don't think they're going to remake her. If they do, it would have to be maybe a last episode Ahsoka if she changes a costume. Like, I don't think she's changing anything. She's just, she's dressed the same. She's wearing what I like to call, actually, maybe I shouldn't say it. It's inappropriate.
Go for it. We love being inappropriate here.
Let's just say every month, about once a month, a woman likes to wear very comfortable shirts and very comfortable clothes. So she's wearing that kind of outfit. And I'm like, hey, that's a really comfortable outfit.
That's great that you give us this perspective.
Yeah, we need
there's a lot of people that don't know that.
Right. So those monthly clothes, I feel like that's all she's wearing right now. But I think the rest of the show was decent. I never saw the Rebels, but it made me want to watch it. So just like Keco said, I'm really digging the color. I love the green and the orange and all of the different things. So Sabine, that's the one. And I'm not familiar with all the characters, but Sabine is the Mandalorian, right?
Yep. Pretty sure that's her, right, Keco? I'm pretty confident.
Yes, the one that puts the helmet.
Yeah, the one with the pink, purple hair or whatever. Yeah.
The one sitting to the right in this photo.
Yeah.
I think they'll end up making her if like a full head sculpt and all. I think they'll end up doing that because they've already teased the actual Mando suit that she had. So I think they'll end up making her, and I think she'll continue on to other seasons. So I think she'll probably be a primary character, almost like how they did with Mando and oh my goodness, what's her name? I always blank out on these. Anyway, Bo-Katan, thank you so much. Yeah, so almost like they did with that. But then as far as the other characters, I don't know that they're really going to do anything unless it becomes a widely popular show. I think that'll probably be the end of the line.
Yeah. And I think so. I mean, look, it depends how they didn't do, Natalie, they didn't do shit for Andor. And Andor, I mean, it was a great show, but it wasn't widely popular. It wasn't like, it was like, I think the lowest watched show they've had. And, but it's
an absolute shame.
Right, it was, but which is a great show. I really enjoyed it. I thought it's probably, I mean, honestly, I like Mando season 1 and 2 probably the best overall, but Andor is right there, bro. Like Andor is a really good show.
I haven't seen it. So I watched Rogue One, and I thought Rogue One, I felt that was like the saddest Star Wars movie. I felt so I walked away from that like, wait a minute. So every character that I just got attached to all just died. Like, this whole movie was a suicide mission. This was Armageddon on a Star Wars level. I turned the TV off. I was like, I think I need a drink.
Andor is pretty fucking dark as well.
Andor is probably darker, I think.
I mean, it's got couples with marriage issues that are falling out. It's got obviously very graphic torture scenes, but some of the dialogue is some incredible. Like that moment when Skarsgård is having that speech about what have you sacrificed. Dude. That is one of the coolest lines in all of Star Wars.
That might be the best monologue in Star Wars.
It's incredible.
I mean, it's really good. He's like, don't tell me what I've sacrificed. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, like
I wake up to see a sun every single morning that I'll never see.
Yeah, exactly.
I sacrificed everything.
Yeah, exactly. The show is really like, it's kind of an overused term, but boots on the ground, very gritty. Like it is, that's what it is. Like it's meant to be like, you're not following Luke Skywalker. You're following just a regular sort of dude that, can do some things here and there. He's kind of like almost like a Han Solo type. That's really kind of what they're going for. Like sort of a rugged type of hero with some baggage. That's really a reluctant hero, I guess you could call him. So, but it's great. It's great. As far as Ahsoka though, I'm excited to see where it goes, but I can't say I was like overly thrilled with it. I was watching it and I was like, it's pretty, it's okay. Like I enjoyed it, but
I have high hope for it. Yeah, I have high hopes for it. I feel like this is going to be one of those shows that's like the slow burn, and then it's just going to nail it at the end, and everyone is going to love it, and then she's going to go sold out in all of the different places, and then and then everyone's going to kick themselves.
It's funny, Natalie, though. I think I might disagree. I think they're going to make another Ahsoka. I think they're going to fix the arm issue. I think they're going to fix that.
They would have to have some sort of different, it'd be one thing to 2.0 it, but to 2.0 it while it's still in stock.
Right.
I think
Hot Toys isn't gonna fuck. They're going to be like, they're like, remember what they did with what was Chrome Mando versus the regular Mando, but they were just like, here you go, bitches. Like, take this Chrome Mando. And, I think they're going to make a season 3 Din Djarin too. I think it's just a matter of time. Maybe it'll be die cast or something. I don't know.
No,
they might
no way.
They might.
I mean, you're right. They might, but I really doubt it. I think that first of all, there's still 2 of them sitting out there.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, I don't know that they will. Plus, it didn't do very well at all, and there wasn't enough of a difference to warrant them to reissue. I don't think anything changed on him.
Yeah, not much.
When did he get his ensign? Was that in season 2 or 3?
I think it was season 2. Yeah, right.
Okay. So
yeah,
I don't even know if anything
but I mean,
changed
but it's just a matter too of like, sometimes it doesn't even need to be a drastic change. Hot Toys like, you're getting another fucking figure. Like that's, and they might have a contractual obligation. They might have a contractual obligation with Disney and be like, you have to produce something from the new season. So, you know, they've done some IG-12 and whatever, but to make,
I don't want to go too far because I have a feeling that we're going to be talking about something else. And, so I was saving. Get out of my topic, Will. Move on.
Saving your ammunition. Yeah, but guys, thank you so much. Let us know your thoughts on Ahsoka. Of course, no spoilers. We're not dropping any spoilers here tonight. So thanks so much for that one. That said, let's address something else here. Will the first Artisan Marvel figure, when will it be? What will it be? When is, you know, what's going to happen? There's so many questions. How will it be? There's just, you know, with Artisan, we don't really know right now. We have very limited of sample data, like where we have Anakin Skywalker. Technically, from what I remember, the what's it called? The Wonder Woman is not Artisan. She is a WB 100, right? The Joker was Artisan. So we have 2 basically pre-orders right now that have been shown so far. So that said, it's just a matter of time before they tackle another iconic character and before they go to their cash cow. I know people, and like Keco said, Star Wars is king right now in the States, but Marvel is still around. Marvel may not be doing well right now, but the old Marvel that people are still nostalgic for, now that could sell something. Keco, what predict live on air right now? What is going to be the first Artisan Marvel hot toy, and when do you think we're going to see it?
I think we're going to see it probably within the next couple months. I think that because they want to keep that going. You know, I think I want to. Here's my prediction. I believe they're going to do 4 Artisan figures a year, if that makes sense. I think that's fair to start out the game.
So like 1 a quarter, maybe
1 a quarter. I think that would be fair. That way they can make sure. And I don't know whether all, and I'm actually video coming out about this. I don't know if all are going to be exclusive or anything like that, or why it should be. But here's what I see. Here's what I think. I'm going to give you what my heart tells me and what my mind tells me. My heart is that the first Marvel Artisan would be Scarlet Witch. I mean, she's a listen. She's a popular character. She obviously has hair, and that's what it's going to come down to. I don't think they're going to waste an Artisan on somebody who doesn't have hair. You have to have somebody that, yeah, Cap would be cool, but there's not enough to work with. Nick Fury, not going to happen. There's not enough on a Tony Stark either. Everyone's like, well, why aren't you going with Iron Man? I was like, because people don't really necessarily want the Tony Stark heads. They want the Iron Man. And so I think that one is out. So yes, my heart would be, I would love a Scarlet Witch. Let's go with that because she's a popular character. Let's do it. My other heart would be like, I think that, you know, Black Widow would be cool, but I don't think enough people would buy it. So I think the one that people would definitely run for is an anniversary edition going all the way back to Thor 1, Chris Hemsworth as Thor. That's the one I think it's going to be, kind of the really 2.0, that one, because that figure is long in the tooth. So let's go back to the original Avengers. Give us Chris Hemsworth as Thor in the next couple months. I think that's the way it's going to go.
Dude, that's a good choice, bro. I did not expect that one. I thought pretty much everyone would say Battle Damage Mark 85 Iron Man, which is my choice. I think that's going to be, because you're right, Keco, about the other Iron Man figures, but not that one. Battle Damage Mark 85, that's the one Iron Man where you're like, the head sculpt has to stay on, right? Because that's just too iconic of a snap. Like it's just too essential to your collection. He's literally front and center on mine in a kneeling pose. You know, I think that would be the one people would lose their shit for sure. Also, Chris,
but no one, I mean, not to change the subject, no one lost their shit over the Battle Damage 85.
Well, I think they did. They just fucking produced the hell out of it. I think that's why. Because the day it went up, people were like,
it also came out like 3 years after the snap. So.
Exactly. So there's a lot of factors, but I think it's just they just overproduced it. I mean, like, you know, I think that's part of it. But Natalie, I don't want to steal any of your thunder. So what's your answer here? What are you expecting to see from Artisan Hot Toys for Marvel?
Well, I mean, if I had the ability to kick people out of this thing, I would have kicked Keco out right before he was because I knew he was about to do it.
I'll give you admin access.
Yeah. That was my exact answer. I really think that Thor would be the very first one because, you've got to have hair. And I think one of the challenges that they have with the short hair is that it gets poofy. There's not enough weight to hold it down. They'd have to add gel or
listen
mousse.
to this. This is good stuff, people.
You'd have to add gel or mousse. Trust me, I know. Okay, right? It gets frizzy. You have to add something. I mean, yours is slicked back.
I know when Keco said Natalie out, like he was like, "Yeah, you have to have hair," and I was like, "What the fuck? Like, no, Hathaway's ain't gonna make me or The Rock, bro. Come on now."
I also don't think that they've got the concept yet down for doing a rooted beard, or let me not say a beard, long beard, sure, but like a goatee or just a mustache, I don't think that they could quite do. But to do a long hair Thor, I think that would be an easy stab at it. So that was going to be mine. Another thing I was going to say was if they were to do an artisan edition, I know we were talking about Marvel, but thinking about what is truly popular. This recent one, they did a Star Wars and a DC. I think the next one they release is going to be a Star Wars and a Marvel. And I think it's going to be a Mando die cast. And I think he's going to have rolling eyes. I think he's going to have all sorts of things. And I think the little Yoda that he comes with is going to have hair, and he's going to have little posable fingers. He's probably going to have there's probably going to be a whole bunch of little, just like the Hulk. The Hulk has the posable fingers, and they're not metal. So I think you'll get a little bit more, maybe a little sham that closes and opens. But that's my opinion. I think that they would do a Thor, and I think they would do a Mandalorian.
You guys don't think they would do a Endgame Chris Evans?
No. People don't care at this point anymore.
I think, dude,
I disagree. I love Captain America. Captain America is like the bee's knees. I'll never forget. I was doing something at work, and we were goofing around, and someone said, "There's no such thing as white chocolate. There's only dark chocolate. They take the color out of." And I said, "White chocolate does exist." And I sent a picture of Captain America.
Oh my God!
Everybody loves Chris Evans gets Captain America. So I think he will sell forever. He's going to be like the Dark Knight, right? He's going to be like he's going to be like the Joker. There's never going to be another Cap. I know that the Anthony Mackie's Cap is sick. He has a great costume. He's great. They couldn't have picked Bucky Barnes. That would have been not a good idea. But Cap will always be Cap. So I think he would sell really well, but they wouldn't be able to do the rooted unless they figured out a way to really lock the hair down. Then what's the point, right? Because it's not soft anymore. You'd have to really gel it down, got to be glued, gelled down. Otherwise it just turns poofy. And
you also have these characters that you're not going to display a Cap with his shield without his mask on. I mean, that I feel like you can't really do. No one's going to display it with that. Yeah, it'd be cool, but I think they're like, okay, do we really want to spend all this time on this new head sculpt that's rooted for a Captain America when he wears his mask, especially in some of those iconic scenes? Right. I don't know.
Yeah, I do. I display him without his helmet.
It does. I mean, I think eventually, but I mean, it's but Thor does make a lot of sense the more you guys explain it, the logic of it, because his longer hair, it can make it look a little more flowy and natural. Like it probably wouldn't be quite as difficult. Like it's, and they could update the head sculpt.
I have no idea who that is in that picture. So
yeah, I mean, because it's a scroll. But again, Loki could be an option. Maybe they do Loki. Maybe they go back. Because he has perfect hair for that. Like it's long enough. I mean, it's, they could do it, and give him good styling and stuff. And I would assume they'd probably make either Thor 1 Loki because they've never made that before, or they go back and just do Avengers Loki again. But they've made that twice now. So, it's kind of like, I'd say maybe just Thor 1 Loki. But I think they'd probably do Thor first. He's more popular of a character overall. But I mean, Din Djarin's a good choice too, Natalie. That's a good choice. I mean, maybe that's why they're holding Din Djarin for so long and he hasn't been put up. Maybe they're holding out for something like that. I mean, he's one of their premier characters, I would say. I mean, he's probably one of their top sellers, I would assume. But I mean, Mando was especially hot before season 3 dropped.
It's the only way you're going to be able to push out. And this is what I was alluding to before. I don't think there's a way to just make a regular Mando 3 figure. It's not going to, you've already got the 2. He comes with the Boba helmet. He comes with all these added accessories. There was nothing that's really enticing about season 3 unless you make it some form of artisan. It's Durasteel or not Durasteel.
Durasteel. That would be fun.
Durasteel. Can you imagine what
like a real life Durasteel?
What a slap in the face. You get the old Mando again, the first one, but this time it's diecast.
Dude, I'd get it though. I'd get it.
I know you would. That was your favorite one.
That was my favorite, but I sold it.
Sell it.
Well, just because I had to sell it because I couldn't have duplicates, and I was like, look, I do love the Duracell the most, but if I'm looking at the most iconic Mando, it's clearly the best guard one. Like it's he wore the other armor for literally one episode, so yeah. Unfortunately, I love that army. Should have had it longer. But nonetheless, guys, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. What are you thinking? Marvel Artisan line. I mean, it's bound to happen eventually. I did see one comment that said maybe it's going to be specific to Star Wars. It could be. It could be. Maybe we're overlooking that possibility. I don't think so, though. I think it's.
I mean, they've already done it with Joker, so how could it be just Star Wars?
Oh, Star Wars and DC. The guy said, sorry, I misspoke. So yeah, because of DC, they have the DXs, and because Marvel had a DX. I don't think they have, right?
That's a great question.
I don't think they have. I think that's a good point by the chat. I think chat pointed that out. Star Wars and DC for all the deluxe.
So I think that's because, and I'm not a licensed guru here, but I think that's because Mattel or Hasbro, one of them has licenses to produce 12-inch figures that are plastic and polystone. So the only way to separate themselves from that license in order to produce it is to make it some form of a deluxe, something that you can't get just from a plastic or polystone.
Oh.
I think that's why they do those. But even you'll see it, like the Wonder Woman, not the Wonder Woman, the Luke Skywalker. He's got separate rolling eyeballs, or even some of the other ones, and they're not DX. Actually, I think the Luke was a DX, but some of them are not, and I think that's why.
Yeah. That makes sense. Well, we got some super chats. Austin McLean said, I think in 40th Return of the Jedi, Luke seems very likely. Thank you so much, Austin. What do you guys think? I mean, Luke Skywalker is a very distinct possibility. That's
actually a really good one. You know, you probably would even get like a Padme or an Amidala, because the hair can be wrapped up, right? It doesn't need to be down. It can just be really soft and styled already, come with a long robe and the makeup on. Yeah. That'd be nice.
That'd be cool. A Leia, people would go crazy for. I saw someone drop the comment of Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan would be a good choice. That could.
Damn, I really just talked myself. I want that Amidala I just talked about.
Yeah, see, you got to go PR.
We've always needed the painted, red dress Amidala. That would always been so good.
That third-party company made one. Remember? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel a little worried about it, but yeah, I don't know.
It looked good in the photos.
It did. Yeah, 100%. And thanks so much, dude. And Nick's Collectibles with a $4.99 super chat. Thanks so much, bro. Of course, dropping the pizza scooter again. Artisan Tobey Maguire, Peter Parker with pizza scooter. Dude, that would be a grail, edition size 1 of 1, because Nick would be the only one who would buy that. But, so one day it's going to happen. Nick is basically, he's morphed into slowly the Mark 46 guy. Like the Mark 46 guy that commented, reissue Mark 46 and everything. Nick, that's basically Nick now with the pizza scooter. So eventually it will happen for you, Nick, because it happened for that guy. It's going to happen for you too. Howard's going to see it. Your cry for, your appeal here, your cry for attention rather. And he's pretty much going to get you. So he's going to get you that pizza scooter that you've always dreamed of. So anyway, Nick, thanks so much, bro. As always, guys, check out Nick's Collectibles. Lots of great content over there. Of course, wrestling. We're waiting to see another wrestling live stream. Those are always
I gotta say, Blitz's comment.
Yeah, which one?
Me laughing. He says, "Can Grogu get some damn new clothes? Mando's such a bad dad for letting him run around in that potato sack."
Yeah. Dude, honestly, Grogu's
and we don't wash it either. So
no,
I know he's probably just shitting in his potatoes.
Dude, honestly, I guess I never thought about that. But
right,
yeah,
in season 2, I think it was, he gets his blue stuff all over, and what does he do? He takes like a piece of sandpaper and he just wipes it into it, and he's like, "All right, now we're moving back on." Star
Wars is a rough universe, so it's you ain't got time, you ain't got those luxuries, so it's especially not as a bounty hunter, but yeah. I could see that. Guys, let's ask the question here. Really, there's a couple that we could get to, but I want to ask this. Keco texted me something the other day now, and this is how this topic came to be. We were talking about, actually, I think it was Blue Beetle, because Blue Beetle, I went actually out in theaters. I loved it. I thought it was great, but it fucking bombed. It did not do well at the box office. It did not perform, despite how good it was. It got pretty good reviews. I think the critic score was like a 79 or something. That's actually really good. That's a pretty good score. It's not exactly Shang-Chi, but it's really good, or The Dark Knight or something. But it's a really good score. The audience score was in the 90s, like a 91 or something. Guys, if you haven't checked out Blue Beetle, I would highly recommend it. I thought it was great. I really want to see it again. But it's bombing, and every film is bombing right now, especially DC films, because people have given up on the DC universe very clearly. And then that's why James Gunn had to come in and, reboot the whole thing. I saw John Campea talking about this, actually, and he was pointing out that no DC film for the last, I forget, maybe 4 to 5 years has gone over $400 million for DCEU. Joker did, because it's not DCEU, but the other ones, no, nothing's gone over $400 million. That's crazy. Like the Eternals went over $400 million, and that film was horrible, I think. But other people might disagree. But sure, everyone's entitled to their opinion. But Keco, I gotta ask you the question: is 1/6 collecting going to be as exciting in maybe an era where I don't know if we're getting a superhero fatigue or Star Wars fatigue, or maybe just the content's not good? What do you think is going on here?
The content's not good. I mean, I've said this multiple times, is that they needed to do something after Endgame, and what they had in place had potential, and they didn't stick that landing at all, or even get it off the ground. That's kind of why I think they tried to reboot these things, and the concepts just weren't there. There was a lot going on with Pandemic Protocol, trying to do streaming services, Disney Plus shows. I think the whole format has just been a miss. And then the movies they selected, not just Marvel, but also DC, like, what are you doing? And like, I know the Aquaman 2 is coming out, and I can't wait to see ends up what happening there. So as far as like flaming out, that's what I'm getting at, is
right.
It's dark out there, man. And I do think that potentially the golden age potentially is over, because how long can you... There he is.
Drago, let's go.
Drago is here. But
50 minutes, bro. 50 minutes.
How long can you milk something until people are like, okay, I'm done? The benefit that Star Wars had was having 12, 15 years in between their trilogies, their acquisitions, and things like that. So that wore off. People kept it going through books, media, different things like that. But we had literally 10 years of Marvel just slammed down your throat. And then I think it would have been great if we did take a few years and just be like, make a plan, and then go back, then go back at it. And I don't know, because I think anything not named Batman is going to struggle. 1 second.
Draco's about to get in trouble.
Is that... Damn it.
Draco's wild, bro.
I don't think he's been outside yet. So with that being said, is that I think Batman's the only thing that's not struggling. I think the Batman did well. Joker did well. But even like I'm gonna shut up here. All the Superman stuff still flamed out as well. So Gunn's got an uphill battle. And I think it's going to have to come down to nostalgia of people wanting the older figures from like the Avengers and, the original Man of Steel. A nostalgia is going to have to kick in for people. And I say nostalgia because it's crazy to think that, this is even going to be a nostalgia topic at some point. But yeah, there's nothing out there that people are beating down the doors for.
Right. And that's the point. And, that's why I think you guys might be onto something with a Thor Artisan edition, or maybe, like I said, a Captain America or Iron Man or whatever, because maybe that's the golden age of superhero content. Maybe it was. Maybe what Marvel did is the golden age, and we're past that now. We're past our prime. But Natalie, what do you think? I mean, what do you think this means for 1/6 collecting? I mean, this could be a reason, maybe because we have always talked about, look, after COVID, maybe there was less demand in the market. Maybe that's because the content's just not as exciting, right? Like in Marvel times, like I've never been to a movie like Endgame. Like that was a cultural fucking event. Like when I was at the theater, like everyone was there. Everyone was excited. People were talking to each other. Like Infinity War was like kind of half that, but Infinity War was so good that it built so much hype up for Endgame. And then Endgame was just like, because like Avatar, yeah, it makes a lot of money, but it's not like I go to Avatar and I feel like this whole energy, right? Like I just, but with Endgame, I haven't felt that since. So Natalie, do you think that could affect maybe why people aren't buying, why there's lower batches, why there's just overall less excitement about these collectibles? What do you think?
So Age of Heroes over. I think no. I think Marvel is doing something big in the background. I think they realized they really screwed the pooch. They had the world by the balls, and they decided to screw it up. And now they have to fix it. And so I think they're doing something big on the back end. But I think James Gunn has something that he's brewing as well. I don't know. I never watched DC the way that most people have, and so I have a very different view on it. I think that he came in and he took Guardians of the Galaxy, this unknown team. He made a beautiful trilogy, the best trilogy that exists, in my opinion, in all of the Marvel, all the MCU. I think all three films were excellent. They were visually stunning, and the story was beautifully told. You have ups, downs, heartbreak, and the good guy, he doesn't get the girl. Like, he never does. And in fact, he's devastated at the end. He's just a broken shell of a man, right? If you haven't seen it already, too bad, just spoiled it, right? He doesn't end up with Gamora. And so I think he's going to take that same level of dark undertone, but he's going to be allowed to embrace it. I think Marvel, you had to have some sort of sunny side. I think they probably dialed him down a bit. So I think he's going to bring a whole different wave of emotion into the DCEU. I've never watched it as with the Snyder cuts. I mean, I've seen a couple things here and there. Wasn't a big fan of it. I liked Justice League. That was probably the only movie that I think I watched in its totality. But I think he's going to do really good things. I think Marvel needs to back up, get its stuff together, figure out how they want to reset here. I think that will become the Star Wars original trilogy for our generation. In 20 years from now, they're going to be talking about Captain America and Iron Man the way that people talk about Luke and Leia and the original Star Wars trilogy. And so that's always going to be a gem. They need to try not to fuck that up, because I'm sorry for the language.
I cuss all the time, so it's fine.
If they try bringing those characters back too soon, or they try to make them too in now politics, if they try doing that, they're gonna damage what they built. So I really hope they're figuring that out, and I hope James Gunn comes in with a different set of eyes, and he's able to do that. So in what I'm hoping is we get exposed to DC. I would love to see DC characters that we never saw before. Batman is huge. Robin never laid his egg, but we'll get there. But Blue Beetle is a great place to start. I know most people don't agree. They think it was a stupid move to do, but doing this as a new character, someone you've never seen, you have no ties to it. There's no way to screw this up, because he was never once up here and now you've made him down here. This is his entrance. So I'm looking forward to it. I think that's going to be the future. Is going to be what's next in Age of Heroes. The heroes need to change. It needs to not be Marvel only. It needs to be things like The Boys, or it needs to be things like DC. It needs to be something new. And I think as long as the collector bank, right, is going to fizzle out, right? You have all the fanatics of Marvel that jumped in, and now that that's fizzling out a little, you'll have a lot come out. But that will make 1/6 collecting more niche again, which will increase the value of things, which will entice new people to join. And it's going to be kind of that circle of, it gets really big and then the bubble pops, and then it gets really big and the bubble pops. So we'll see. I don't think it's going to be I think it's going to get more exciting, because when they do release figures we want, like that Artisan Anakin, it's just everyone's going to go nuts for it. They're all going to jump in. They're going to grab what they can, and they're going to back out. So that's my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I think honestly, though, you guys are right, which is, it kind of brings me back to my main point about the Marvel, because you made it, I completely agree, Natalie, about the Avengers sort of Infinity Saga being the original trilogy for Marvel fans. That's really what it is and what it's become. So especially nowadays after what's happened, yes, there have been some bangers, in my opinion, at post Endgame, like Shang-Chi. Keco doesn't agree, but No Way Home, some others that were really good. I like the Loki first season. Some people didn't. Other people really loved it. WandaVision was really good, I thought, overall.
WandaVision was my favorite show, probably one of my favorite pieces of content outside of like a handful of the movies. I loved WandaVision.
Yeah, WandaVision ended really great. I mean, it's just one of those where there's still been some bangers. It's just that, and I think Bob Iger went out and said that it was a good experiment. They said, you know what, Marvel's popping the fuck off. Let's put out more Marvel content and get people excited. But it was just oversaturation. Like, it was oversaturation. The quality dip, and when the quality dips, people dip. People leave. So, and that's pretty much what's happened. That's what happened with DC, which is why everyone has bailed the fuck out of DC. Like Blue Beetle, it's a character people don't know. I'm glad they made it because it's awesome, but it's a character people don't know. It's considered part of the old DCEU that they're already moving on from. Blue Beetle apparently is going to stick around. I don't know, but I hope he does, because he's fucking awesome. But it just, no one was shocked that it flopped. Nobody.
Yeah, I'm going Sunday to see it. I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's flopping because people don't expect it to be good, and they don't want to waste their time. But it's going to be really good. People are going to then get interested in the next movie he puts out. They're going to say, okay, well, Blue Beetle was really good. I think I'll go see this next one. And I think we're going to see the next movie is going to have all of the volume of people who saw Blue Beetle not in theaters are going to show up. And it's just going to do really well just because it was the movie after this one.
But the next movie is Aquaman 2 with Amber Heard, and they're not going to go see that.
I'm not going to go see that.
Well, yeah, because Aquaman 2, people have already said it's going to fucking bomb. It's going to bomb. Yeah.
That was just stupid. That was stupid. I don't know why they
at the time, Natalie, the first Aquaman made $1 billion. That's
correct. Why. No one saw that coming.
Yeah, they greenlit the second one because Warner Bros. Was like, hell yeah. It was the same with Joker. They probably never intended to make a second one, but it made $1 billion. And they were like, let's get a second one.
So why do you think it made $1 billion?
Who, Aquaman?
Mm-hmm.
I think because to be honest, it was very Marvel-like. It was very much a Marvel film. That's I think at that time DC was still trying to emulate Marvel pretty closely, and Aquaman was probably their best effort at that.
It was very bright and colorful too.
It was colorful. It was bright. It felt very Marvel. I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought Aquaman was really good.
And I think you also had Jason Momoa, who brought every woman out there. It's like, oh, you want to see a superhero movie? We can go see Aquaman.
He's shirtless as well.
Yeah. Yeah, he was. Sure, it was pretty
covered in water.
Honestly, too, you get to see like something. It was also different, but it's still a recognizable character, a recognizable actor to a degree. And it was like Keco said, colorful and exciting, and it was just good timing. Like, and it got people excited about going.
Water films always do really well. Like there's two things that typically do really well. Anything that involves dinosaurs and water. And I think
dinosaurs and water. That's the formula right there.
Bro, Meg 2 did unbelievably
Did it do well? I didn't even see the box office.
It's blown out the box office. Like
really?
No one expected that. Like it got a 0 on Rotten Tomato, and people just still keep going back.
It's got a 0.
It did originally, yeah. I don't know if it officially finished.
I gotta look it up.
It started out with a 0.
I mean, there's Shark Week. It is one full week of just watching fish swimming in water, and everyone just sits in front of the TV. It's something about water.
Avatar: The Way of Water.
Avatar
made like $2 billion or whatever. Like, yeah. So I mean, water's in the title.
The longest sequel. It took 10 years for that movie to come out.
Yeah, it did. I heard it was pretty good though. I still haven't watched it. I gotta watch it. But
me either.
I heard it was pretty good.
As of right now, The Meg has officially made $330 million.
Dude, what did The Flash make? It's already out earned The Flash, right?
Let's see. The Flash
was like maybe 300. Dude, that's
wild.
DC isn't
budget was 200 million is all it says.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, Flash didn't do very well. I do know that. But you're right. James Gunn has an uphill battle. I think he can do it, but it's going to be hard to convince people that DC's good. Like it's, a lot of people gave up already. A lot of people giving up on Marvel.
263 million.
Dude, so the Meg has already out earned Aquaman. Yeah. Dude, it's water. Natalie's right. It's water and dinosaurs.
And Jason Statham. So
yeah, that's true. He has a box office draw. See, us bald guys, we're not all bad. Yeah, not all bad. We're not artisan figure material, but we are, we can do other things. So yeah. But guys, there's a bunch of other topics we want to get to real quick. I want to do something. I did a preview of this, but it kind of the idea I want to bring this up because neither of you are Lord of the Rings fans. I totally get that, but to me, it's just a question I think that I want to address insofar as how far are we willing to go for a character that we love in terms of a potentially perceived poor quality figure, right? Because I'm looking at this Sauron. I have a quarter scale Sauron. I love the character. I love Lord of the Rings. I'm a huge fan of it. I look at this Sauron though, and I'm like, I would like to have a 1/6 scale Sauron, but not at any cost. Right? Not like this. Not like this. I won't accept this. And this is where I want to bring this up to you guys. Keco, I want to raise the question to you. At what point do we have to draw the line quality-wise and say, you know what? No, I love this character, but this figure is not good. And I'm not going to pay whatever it costs. What about with Wanda, right? Say it was Wanda and say the figure didn't come out that great. Would you still pick it up? Where do you draw the line truly?
It definitely comes down to the actual visuals of it because there's been before this Wanda came out, there was multiple third-party ones. There's that one where she's in the like 1970s Halloween outfit where she's doing the smirk and she's like, that's one of the worst figures I've ever seen in my entire life. No chance I'm getting that one. They did a vision where it's got like someone just smack a fly or something.
It sounded like it wasn't me
or a clacker. So if it looks stupid, there's no chance it's going in there. And I look around to say, is there another representation of this figure anywhere? And there's multiple Wandas. Okay. So I'm like, okay, definitely not getting that. I'll get the Hot Toys one. We're situated. Then you have characters like this, and you're like, okay, this is a great representation in 1/6 scale. I don't have, but where do I draw the line? That's what this question is. And I think if it looks like it's going to pull your collection down, because there literally is tiers of quality in your collection. Like I originally had Trickster God, of President Loki or whatever. It's night and day between that and the Hot Toys one. And I had to move that one out once President Loki came in, but it was a placeholder because I knew it was coming, but I really liked that like iteration of the character. And I was like, okay, no, we got to get this out, move it on. This shouldn't have been in there in the first place. if it looks stupid, I need to personally stop doing that, because I don't want to fill a hole with something that's very mid-tier, very low quality, because it really pulls down the rest of your collection. Do I really want to put Trickster God next to InArt Joker or something like that, or some Artisan Anakin? I mean, come on now. I mean, it's just not going to look like it's the same type of stuff. So with that being said, if you want some type of representation, maybe you look outside to a different scale or a different media. And just because a figure exists doesn't mean you have to have it. So if you're a big Lord of the Rings fan, okay, how can I have, this? And I think, Will, you have it yourself. Let's look for a premium format statue of it. Let's do some mixed media, because that's one thing that really helps collections. If you have mixed media of different sizes, it shows, durability and, really wanting to branch out a little bit. And not everyone can do that for space reasons and for money reasons, whatever it may be. But I would extremely encourage someone to look into other options instead of just saying, okay, I'm just going to put this mid-tier piece of shit on my shelf here. So,
well, that's the thing. I'm with you, Keco. Like, you don't want to bring down the overall level of your rest of your collection. And I get that, because we've all done it. We've all done it before. Like, we've all bought figures. I love that fucking character. I need it. Even if it's not great. I need, like Natalie, for example, if that Lim Toys Arthur Morgan came out real shitty and you were like, I don't fucking care, I need Arthur Morgan, it just is what it is. But somewhere you got to draw the line, because you know what? I don't know if people know this about me. I fucking love The Boys. I love The Boys. I just think it's an amazing show. I absolutely love it. I'm hugely invested in that universe. I love Homelander. I'd love to have a Butcher, a Homelander, a Soldier Boy, and the other characters too, honestly. But I still don't feel like any company has really done them justice. Like, I look at those figures from So-So. I look at, Toys Era and so forth. I've heard other people say they really love them, but I look at them, I'm just like, they look so third party and just not that great. And I'm not willing to make that exception. But Natalie, where do you really draw the line here, quality wise?
Yeah, that's how I felt about so when I got the Omni-Man figure, or Omnipotent Man is what it was from So-So Toys, I really wanted to get the Unbreakable, right? Or what was Invincible. And when I got the Omni-Man and I pulled it out, I was so excited. I opened the box and he was so stiff and his muscles looked misshapen. And it was such a blatant, obvious, quality difference from some of the other ones I have. I look at Thor, who's shirtless or sleeveless, and you can see his definition. And they tried doing that, and I still have Omni-Man just boxed up. Even though I know I'm not going to get rid of it, like, I kind of still want to get the other one, but I had it on pre-order with Toys Wonderland. I ended up canceling it with them. And I was like, maybe I'll get it with someone else, but I was so afraid to get that same quality. So I figure I'll just wait till it comes out. We'll see how it looks, because he's so stiff. He doesn't bend. How do you have superheroes that are supposed to fly and they can't even turn their waist? So he's just supposed to be like this, and that, to me, part of having all of these and having 6 sale is that you can pose them a little bit. You can make them look a little bit realistic. When Keco was doing his WWE rant, which I really loved, by the way, I was very entertained.
My mom loved it. My mom was like, this
fantastic.
is great.
Say Keco Collects, appeases the moms.
Yeah, he does.
But when he was I was looking at the background, and he had the Bad Batch shelf that he has, and I kept telling him, like, get your head out of the way, I'm trying to see what you've got going on back there. And he had Crosshair leaning over the other two. These are things that even if you had a dynamic statue of multiple characters, you wouldn't be able to ever change it. And so that's what I love about 6 scale. And so if you've got figures that can barely pose, to me, that it makes it a little difficult, at least on the superhero side. Arthur Morgan or some of the others, they can be stiff. They don't really have to move. This one, however, this is supposed to be, he doesn't have a face. Yep. He doesn't have expression. He doesn't do anything, right? He's just really big, and he's supposed to be ominous, and he's supposed to be scary. If he looks cheap and plasticky and he can barely move, then he doesn't do the job. And the job is to be big and ominous and detailed and spiky. And he looks like, what was the figure? Ebony Maw. Ebony Maw.
Yep.
Was very, his clothes were very plasticky. They look like if you bent them. I used to have a Loki helmet for a Loki that I had, and it was a custom helmet that came with the original Dark World one. And it was in a box, the helmet, and it bent. It was like a little plasticky, rubbery. It wasn't even plastic. It was more rubbery than plastic. And I hope you know what I mean by that. And it was in a weird position for a little too long, and it could never be shaped back. to me, it looks like his helmet is going to be that weird plasticky, rubbery. And if it's positioned in a way too long, if you move his arm, it's just going to stick out. It doesn't look like they did a good enough job. So for me, I'd be afraid to put that next to, because what else are you going to pair this with? An InArt figure. Those are the
right.
That's what's coming out right now. InArt Lord of the Rings. You could put this next to an InArt figure. This is going to look terrible. So it depends on, I guess, what you're going to put it with. If there's only one character you want and it's going to be in a corner and you can't compare it to anything, go for it. But if you're going to put this next to Aragorn or any hot toy, it's not going to look right. So I think I draw the line at the comparison with the figures that it's supposed to be displayed with, and then also the reason you have it. If it's a superhero and it can't pose, not a great idea. If it's supposed to be ominous and it looks like a toy, not a great idea.
Well, that's the thing, Natalie. And with this Sauron, I mean, Weta put one out. It was a statue. It was 6 scale though, and it looks really, really good. So to me, like, you could easily fit that into your collection. It's still a big ass figure. It's still like 25 inches tall. So it's going to have to fit into a display of some kind, but I'd almost rather pay double for that and get the quality. And if you're not willing to do that, then it's probably not a character that you need, right? It's not something that's absolutely essential. And you guys are both dead on. There's InArt Lord of the Rings that people are going to be buying, right? And when you put this next to it, at least in the photos, I haven't seen it in hand, I don't know, but at least in the photos, this Sauron's not really going to stack up too nicely compared to those InArt figures. So it's just going to be like, if you have that Weta though, that thing is super detailed and looks great. And a statue, I've maintained Sauron is a very specific character. I feel like he needs a statue. His armor is too intricate. There's too many spikes and things that could break and movable parts and chainmail. I think he just needs to be a statue, point blank. He's too big. Too many movable parts. Like, it just, that's just my opinion. But I'm glad these companies are trying and doing things, but it just, it's hard to nail.
And I think they're doing this, like you said, specifically to partner with. A lot of these companies do the companion pieces, which I love because you won't get them otherwise. And I think Hot Toys really is scaling back from that. But you can't make a companion piece to an InArt figure if you're not going to do it right, because it's not going to sell. Right.
Yeah. Well, we're going to see, guys. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below about where you're willing to draw the line on certain characters. Look, I think eventually the quality line has to be drawn. If it's going to, I think the line really is, to sum it up, is if it brings down the value and the display, your overall display and aesthetic of your other figures and overall collection, I think it's highly sus. That's what I would say. So yeah, I don't know, but it's interesting, guys. I want to bring up the topic. This is something actually that someone brought up to me before, right? Someone brought up the idea to me, like, okay, maybe we should address the idea about influencers, YouTubers, and so forth, right? Like, how much should we actually listen to them? How much should it factor into our decision making? Because, I think it is a very interesting conversation. As someone, with us, Keco and I, and Natalie, hopefully you at some point, someone who makes a lot of content and stuff that you hope is helpful for people and hope helps people collect better and smarter and entertains people and just makes someone's life and collecting journey a little bit better. How much should collectors actually heed the advice of YouTubers? Because it's, this has been a debate for ever since I've been in this. This has been a discussion. It's been, don't listen to this YouTuber, listen to that YouTuber, don't listen to him, listen to me, so forth. Like, it happens so forth. It happens quite a bit, right? So I wanted to address the topic and see, like, and I'll ask the people in the chat, weigh in on your thoughts. Like, what do you expect from us? Like, what do you expect from our advice? How much do you listen to it? Is it really just entertainment? Do you take things from it? Do you learn things? What do you really expect out of the content? But Keco, I have to ask you, as someone who does a lot of amazing content, particularly on Threads is where you want to be. Like, where do we draw the line here on this one? Like, how much do you heed the advice of other YouTubers? How much do you think people should do? I mean, ultimately, people have to make their own decisions, but there's going to be influence to be had. What do you think? I mean, this is a complex topic.
It's very complex. It's very controversial as well, because whenever they're talking about something like this, there are personalities attached to it and feelings get hurt. And I'm not a big fan of that. Obviously, I don't like hurting people's feelings, but I'll say the truth. And that's one of the things I've always said, is that I will shoot straight. And I wish I've done more of that, honestly. So when it comes down to advice and influence, take advice. But here's the advice I would say. Here's the advice about advice, is that advice like such as, okay, I've collected a while and I've learned some things. Here's what I've learned, such as how to take care of a figure, ways to build a display, how to take care of pleather, things like that. An actual advice is fine. Budgeting, hey, what's the best way to collect that's fine. Influencing, I think, is a huge red flag. And when it comes to that, don't listen to anything these fuckers say, including me. You know, for one, I'm not an influencer. I don't have enough influence. But with that being said, if someone tells you to get something, get it because you want it, not because some bitch said, "Oh, this is great. Make sure to get it. Here's the link." Because now, Will, I know you have partnerships, so
yeah, that's not gonna make me just laugh, bro. It's not gonna land.
So with that being said,
oh my god,
there are people out there that do want to say, hey, go here. This is where I get some stuff. I support them. Feel free to go there if you want. And I know it's another topic. We'll get to that about, you know, some advice and things like that. But man, if I can just say, please get stuff for yourself and stop listening and getting things because you think they would like they being the influence that they think if you post in their group, they're going to be like, oh man, I can't believe it. Keco went and got this thing. He's so much cooler because he's got it because he saw it on my video. That is so lame. That is so lame. If you bought something because somebody else has it. No, do not do that. So advice is fine. I think that's perfectly fine. Saying, hey, you know, what do I do if my base isn't working? Or what type of stands do you use? That's advice. That's fine. But when it comes to influence, don't let people influence you. If that does that make sense? Like, I don't want people to, I don't want to ever think that, oh, and I'm going to be honest, Nick, if you're still out there, Nick did something because he thought that not necessarily that I told him to, he went by a recommendation that I had. It was a bad recommendation that I wish I wouldn't have steered him in. And he was like, "Oh shit, Keco, way to screw me on this one, and
way to fuck my day up."
Exactly. And so, you know what? I need to be careful with some of the things I say because I don't want someone doing something that they're going to be mad at me for. I don't want my reputation to be in the shit because, like, well, Keco really supported this. It sounded like it was a good idea, and now here I am with something I don't want, something that's broken, someone that scammed me. I don't want any of that. So I want to be really careful on what I say. And so when it comes to, hey, get this because someone wants you to, stop doing that shit.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I'll
make sure to take out Will's link.
Dude, and honestly, look, bro, if I have to say this out loud, people already know, right? I'm not here to necessarily like sell you shit. Like, it's just a matter of like, if I like something, I'll give you a link where you can pick it up. I'm not going to be like, oh, go fucking buy XYZ. I mean, if you want it, you should, but I think at the end of the day, it's ultimately your decision. I'm not here to sell you one way or another. I'm just going to give you my honest opinion and say, I like this or don't. If you do like it, here's a link where you can go pick it up. That's pretty much it. Like, that's as far as it goes. So, and with the influence thing, man, I'm with you. Like, I just think it's a matter of, I think people are subtly influenced whether they realize it or not, like whether they're watching YouTube videos or even friends. Like, if your guys, like, I value both of your opinions. If you tell me something, you could subtly influence me in one direction and I might not even realize it, right? Like, I might be like, well, you know, I thought about it, but then I didn't realize Keco and Natalie said this thing to me. And I was like, and I really respect them and value their opinion. And that's how some people view the YouTubers, right? Like us, they might really trust us and value what we say, and that could influence them. That's why the term influencer is a thing. But yeah, I mean, it's a very fascinating thing because, I've heard multiple sides of the conversation. So but Natalie, what do you think? I mean, as someone who doesn't have a YouTube channel, you're still new to the streaming thing. Like, I know you've watched a bunch of our streams. Like, how far do you go with sort of the viewing process and the influence process?
Yeah, I don't necessarily agree with Keco on this. I think that it's opposite for me. I think that, and actually, let me go back to something. I just wanted to say thank you to Big Dog Pound One. That was very nice of you. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so I think when I get dressed in the morning and I get ready for work, I put on the news. Why do I do that? Because I want to know what's going on with the weather today, right? They're going to tell me if it's going to rain. They're going to tell me if it's thunderstorms. They're going to tell me if it's hot and muggy, if I need a jacket. I don't want to sit here and style my hair and spend 45 minutes doing this if it's just going to rain and then I'm going to have to just wash it or it's going to end up looking like Keco's Joker. I have to watch the news, right? I don't want to get on the turnpike if there's an accident. So I feel like that very much applies to collectors who are not actively in all of the social streams and doing all. You guys spend a lot of time. I had no idea, right? And I think about it now. How much time do you spend polling the community, looking at other streams, participating in other streams, being part of the conversations, asking feedback. I mean, Will, you have vendor relationship or vendor partnerships and relationships, and you're reaching out and you're asking what is going on with the pre-orders. Like, no one's doing that. No one is putting them on their channel and saying, tell me the real deal, what's going on. So when you say, hey, NOPO is dead, right? It's time to start pre-ordering again. I heed that. I think it's very valuable advice to me. Back when we first started the NOPO, I was like, okay, I think these guys know more about this. I was new to collecting, and I was pre-ordering things all the time, spending $275 for a Vision that's now $160, right? So I very much heeded, right? Heeded.
Either one.
Headed of.
Yeah,
headed.
Yeah, there we go.
Of.
There we go.
I took head of.
That's a Dwight reference, by the way.
Oh, no.
Fantastic. I love it. Love The Office. And then the way I look at it is not necessarily buy this figure. Just like Keco said, I couldn't say it better than him. You know what you want. If you don't know what you want, then you go to social media to seek validation. And that's fine. Some people are very indecisive and they need that push. Perfect. Good, do it, because that makes you feel better. It makes you feel included. Maybe you feel a little separated. You want to feel included. What do popular people like? I want to have that stuff. Great, do it. If that makes you feel good, then you're not doing anything wrong. But then there's the game-changing stuff, the NOPO, the DOPO, is Sideshow playing with us? Are they not playing with us? There are things that you need to make your own decisions on, right? So whenever it's a game-changing piece of advice, like no more pre-orders, that's pretty big. That's pretty significant. That's only something you probably need to do your own research, okay? So I'm not gonna, if I wanted to know what the weather's gonna be like, I'm not going to look at the European model and the US model and trying to figure out what these squiggly lines mean. I'm gonna just rely on the news guy. And so I rely on the shows that I watch, the streams that I watch. But when they say something that's a big game changer, like board up your windows, put metal all in your, I'm like, I don't know if I really need to do all that. I'm gonna take my own precautions. And so when everyone said Sideshow's playing games, these clones, they're out of stock. No, they're not out of stock. It's coming back. I said, okay, I don't know if they're playing games. I don't really want to test those waters.
I still say sorry for that one.
Sideshow did that just to fuck Keco. Yeah, they were just like, yeah.
It's okay, because I've got one of this one. I've got the chrome one. Didn't get the white one, but I got it.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't heed that advice. I said, I think they're not playing games because maybe that's just my over analytical self. I'm like, I don't think the FCC would be so okay with them lying to the United States, right? All these different states saying, nope, we're out of stock, but really they have 2,000 of them. Obviously, I'm probably overthinking it, but I just thought something doesn't seem right here. You can't really advertise that you're out of stock just to get people to jump on it. So I was like, I'm going to pre-order this battle droid. I'm going to pre-order this R2-D2, and I'm going to pre-order this Anakin. And, 2 out of the 3 never came back. Right. And so I've got, or not Anakin, Darth Vader. The Darth Vader came back. And I think that's just because they were probably still within a window where they could order another batch. I think they were probably too far at the tail end of the battle droids and the R2-D2s to order more. But that Darth Vader with the slit in the side, yeah, they saw people flocking to it and they ordered another batch. So I wouldn't be surprised if that one gets delayed now because they placed a special order. And I think Sideshow has that with Hot Toys, because remember, Sideshow is the US distributor because they also have a Star Wars license. So the two of them work very closely together. So I wouldn't be surprised if that gets delayed for that reason. Anyway, all that just to say.
And you make a good point that a finger on the pulse news, because there is 6-scale news, and things out there. That's perfectly fine, because I don't have a life sometimes, I love just scrolling through Reddit, seeing what's coming on. And, I love going through there and seeing what's up, the fact that, RoboCop is announcing soon and things like that. I want to know that stuff, and I'll do that research and I'll let you guys know that. But from me, you will never get me saying, go buy this figure. It's perfect. It's awesome. And then go buy it from here. I will never tell you to say that.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that, Keco. That's totally reasonable.
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Natalie. Go ahead.
It's funny you say that, because it wasn't the Lim Toys Arthur. I was very skeptical. I was like, is it going to be good? It's such a third party. I don't even know. And everyone was like, go buy it. Go buy it. It's great. You're never going to regret it. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I can do it. It's just third party. I don't do it. And Will, everybody go get it. And I was like, fine. And I went and I got it, and I freaking love it. And I'm so glad I have it. I would kick myself if I didn't have it. And so now I even have his like TB tuberculosis head sculpt coming. So one of the better things I did listen to. Some of the other things as well, Crosshair, I was like, I don't know if I really want him. He wasn't really part of the Bad Batch. He was really more the villain. You can't complete it without it. He was in season 7. I haven't even made it to season 7. You gotta get it. You gotta get him. Oh no, I just need the core and I got it, and I'm so happy that I did. So there are some things where I'm happy to be influenced, but yeah, you can't just blindly jump into an influence, or you can't blindly jump into a channel. And then when you're bankrupt because people like, there's some folks that are going to tell you to buy everything, right? And you can't listen to that, but I guess, heat it with a grain of salt.
Right. Well, and it's also just a matter of too, when you're talking about sort of the partnerships and things along those lines, for one, you have to trust the YouTuber that you're watching, right? At least insofar as you trust them to be honest with you and be authentic and to direct you to a place that you feel good about, right? That's pretty much a big part of it. So a lot of times, like, with me, like if, which I'll start doing a lot more reviews, I'll post those and I'll give you a link like, oh, you might go to Comic Concepts, you might go to 1/6 Kit, but you got to trust the YouTuber to also make a good judgment in terms of like which ones you're partnering with. Like I was pretty selective about, like I like these shops. I think they do a really good job. I don't think they're going to screw people necessarily. So I feel very confident that they're going to do a good job, that I'm sending people to a good place. Right.
Yeah.
So that's something that I think, again, that is really important. I mean, that's, and that's something that I just think is a really important part of the process. And that's something that we're all striving to do better. So it's, and it's, I mean, at the end of the day, look, don't buy anything that you feel pressured to buy. Don't buy anything because you go on social media and you see other people who have it and you're like, oh, maybe I do want that thing. Like if you really weren't that excited about it to begin with, try to sit on it for a little bit, because I do it. Yeah. Keco does it. I'm sure Natalie does it. We all do this. People got Moon Knight in, right? People got Moon Knight in, and I was like, oh, fuck, do I want Moon Knight? I never really cared about Moon Knight. Like, I liked the show, but I never really was going to get it until people started getting it in. So then you sit back on it, you give it like a week or two, and you're like, yeah, I'm fine. Like, you just got to let that the FOMO rushes through. You got to let it go through your body, let the FOMO go out, and then you're good, right? It's just...
Yeah. There's one more thing, and that's another piece, is where to buy from. I saw a bunch of comments. Oh, buy from this place, buy from that place. What's funny is I never even heard of some of these places, didn't even know they existed until watching on certain YouTube channels. And now, and I'm not even saying this because I'm on your show, to be honest with you, I wouldn't even care if it was your show or not. But Comic Concepts, never heard of them before until I saw like 7 months ago, you did an interview with the Comic Concepts guy. And he had pointed out, he said, I pretty much price match anyone and I go cheaper. And I'm like, that's a lie. Anyway, let me go look it up. And I looked, and everything is strategically like at least $10 or $15
yeah,
cheaper.
$10 or $15 cheaper.
Regardless of what place you find it at. And there's, well, depending on what state you're in, right? No tax in Florida. So for me, it made a lot of sense. Reputable place, ordered from them, got it from them. Same thing with Pop Culture, which is Australian, which is ironic because their shipping costs, price of shipping $30, $40, $50, but they offer like 30% discount. So like I got the Boba Fett or Boba on Throne, I got it for like $230. Nice. And then I paid like $60 in shipping, right? Yeah. So it's like it offsets, but it was still cheaper than buying it local. And then they have like 20% off like once every quarter. And that's where I got Hunter. That's actually, I think I got my whole Bad Batch, except Echo. I got him from a convention. They were selling for like $190. But I got pretty much all those from that. And I would have never known about those places had it not been for YouTube channels. So I'm happy to be influenced. Influence me, give me advice. I don't like to go read and do my own research. You do that for me, tell me, and then I will, as an adult, make a decision on what I want to do. Yeah, but you guys have saved me so much time and effort and research and thinking. I don't like to think too much. I do that too much.
It makes sense. You do it enough. And Randall's perfectly right. Sometimes FOMO is like having a mild cold. Yeah, you just got to get over it. Give it a little bit of time. Eat some chicken noodle and you're good. That's it. You don't feel any more FOMO.
You just got to detox yourself a little bit.
Detox, exactly, bro. I'm actually worried. I don't think I have COVID, but I feel a little sick actually. So hopefully I should be okay. But COVID's been going back around, guys. Have you seen that? Like I haven't. I mean, it's not good. It's another strain. So hopefully we don't shut the world down again.
This is volume 2, bro.
It is volume 2. It's the sequel, bro.
The sequel, and everyone else says the sequel's better than the original. So we'll see.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is not good because I've got a cruise coming up in like 2 weeks.
Same. I hope I make it to November for mine.
Yeah, so you're going on a cruise. Congratulations. I love cruise. I'm going on in September. And then next week, I'm supposed to be traveling to Ohio for work. And so I'm really not trying to get sick on a plane next to some sneezing little snot-nosed kid. If he sneezes on me, I will push a child. I've got a cruise.
Stay alive on stream.
Which part of Ohio, though?
Mason.
Oh, yeah. Cincinnati, Mason area.
Yeah.
He goes from that general area, right? So, yeah.
Pour one out for Harambe while you're there.
Harambe.
Yeah, Harambe, dude. Keco is fucking, yeah. Keco, you'll influence people towards Harambe and the Bengals, though.
Yeah, I will influence you to support Joe Shiesty and the Bengals. I will do that. And if everyone's doing their fantasy leagues, if you've not taken T. Higgins as a wide receiver 1 yet, please do that. I'm influencing you to do so.
Okay.
It's a good, I know all those words. I know exactly what I mean.
T. Higgins is pretty great. He's pretty great. But guys, let's move on to our next topic here. I think we got time for one more, and I want to ask the question here. Spider-Man. Spider-Man is all the rage, right? Look, a lot of people can have multiple Spider-Man figures. Some people, though, don't want to have duplicates. Like with me, I have one Spider-Man you can see back there. It's the red and blue. Sorry, not the red and blue suit. It's the Homecoming suit, the tech suit, right? The Stark suit. I got the Far From Home, the movie promo edition, right? But when the new red and blue suit drops, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be trading out, right? I'm going to be trading out. I'm going to be swapping up to the new. So, guys, if you're a collector and you can only have one Spider-Man figure because you have like my display, I don't really have duplicates, right? Besides Kylo Ren, he's the only duplicate. He's the only duplicate worthy one I got right now. 2 different outfits. But Spider-Man, say you're only going with one. Guys, what Spider-Man is the Spider-Man to own right now? Keco, even on, you can choose pre-order. You can choose pre-order. Anything on pre-order. What's the Spider-Man to go after right now?
So you said go after right now, huh?
Or just you could buy from the past. You could go, collecting backwards, or anything on PO. What do you think is the Spider-Man to have?
Well, here we go. Let me start my influencing right now.
Let's do it.
Let me give you some advice. So I'll tell you definitely the ones not to get. The Antioch suit is ass. Do not go that
Is
route. It's pretty bad. I mean, it's bad. That's one that I definitely would steer away from. The Gamerverse Iron Spider with the 3 ones, ass. Don't do that one.
Really?
Yeah, because they made way too many of the suits and they just weren't very good. I mean, they look cool, but man, you can't do anything with them. But that's about it. So then you have to ask yourself, what Spider, because there's lots of Spider-Man. Like, what representation do I want? Do I want one from a movie, or do I want one from a game? Or do I want one technically from a comic/game? What do I want to go for? So only you can answer that question. So if you're going for your movie Spider-Man, you have 3 great options from No Way Home. If you want the Tom Holland one, yeah, you probably should go that final swing. That's going to be the best looking head sculpt to go with. I mean, looks incredible. Can't wait for that one. If Toby is your guy, once again, the No Way Home one. I think that's going to be the great representation. The Andrew one, I think most people are like, meh, but you can't have, if you're going to have all 3 of them, you can't not have that one. I was talking to Nick about that. So someone in the comments was mentioned up close to about the symbiote suit is going to possibly be the one to get eventually, but we don't know how the material is going to be. So here we go. The Spider-Man to get, the one, I've said this before, the best Spider-Man is the Scarlet Spider. It's by far my favorite.
Okay.
It's the most posable. It's the most forgiving. It is, in my opinion, the coolest look. I just love the way the colors pop. His body definition is so much cooler than all the other ones. He's got those real nice deltoids, and I just love the hoodie. I love the accessories. That's a badass figure right there, and he looks great. And if you can get that one, that's the one I will like. But if you have no tie to it, once again, if that means nothing to you, don't get it. But for posability, accessories, look, that's it. But then you have to ask yourself what you want to do. But for me, if you're asking, it's going to be Scarlet Spider all day long.
Scarlet Spider is an interesting choice, bro. You're a wild card as always. I did not expect that one to be thrown out here. The Antioch suit, I'm surprised you say it's ass. I haven't really...
you just can't pose it, man. He's right. Way too tight. And I mean, I think a lot of people liked it because like, oh, this is the closest we're ever going to get to a symbiote, an all black Spidey. But
yeah. Makes sense. Well, Natalie, what do you think? I mean, what's the Spider-Man to own? We got some good options that have been presented so far, and we got some, ones that haven't been actually brought up. But what do you think? I mean, what's the Spider-Man to own?
The Ox Spidey for sure.
The Antioch one?
No, it's funny because I had this one. I had the Scarlet Spider, and no, I was just kidding. Please get that off.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna leave it up.
I had this one, and I sold it. I totally agree. Probably the most posable one that you can get other than the homemade suit one. But for me, it didn't have enough of a nostalgic. It was just one suit that you could maybe wear in a game, but it's really cool. If you like the comics and there was something that you liked.
Yeah, I like Ben Reilly as Spider-Man. I thought that was cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of the most unique versions. So you're not going to get a lot more like this unless they do a 2.0, which would really be stupid because it's a Toy Fair exclusive. And I don't know that they've ever done an exclusive and then re-released it in like a main. That would be a dick move. So I've sold that one. But for me, I'm going to actually go with Iron Spider.
Ooh.
And
the MCU version, not the video game version. Okay, I was gonna say the video game version's terrible.
No, I'm gonna go with that one. And the reason I say that is because for me, I look at Iron Spider. This suit was in the most versions of the movies that I loved. Infinity War was my original trilogy. And so when I think of MCU Spider-Man, this is what I think of. He ended his MCU and then they fucking brought him back. Like, let the story, I thought they ended it so good. It was a perfect ending to his story. Let him now go be the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man that nobody knows. Why are you ruining it? It was a perfect ending. So for me, this is the Spider-Man that sums him up. He was the homemade suit, and then he had a little bit of blue. Yeah, there was some black, but he was this Spider-Man for like three movies at least, right? He was even in the most recent one for even a half of a second in the beginning, I think, right? Or was he still in the black one? I don't know.
That's what he was wearing when he went to fight Ock.
Right. Yeah. And so I'm sure Riley, if he was in this, he'd be correcting me right now, but
he would.
So for me, this is probably the Spider to get. That's my opinion. But I gotta say that head sculpt in the new one, I will not sell this one. I've got the Iron Spider. I have the Miles. I really like the Miles from the video game. This one has me torn because I really want that head sculpt. And I love that the neck is showing. There's just that artisan level of realism that you're not going to get from any of the others. I hate that this one has a turtleneck up to his jawline. I really do. If I knew someone who could do a custom and cut that off and make it look more realistic, I would, and I would just keep that. But this one, I think I'm going to end up getting, not the display base, but just because you really can't not have a Tom Holland representation. And I refuse to put a Tom Holland head sculpt on this that his neckline goes all the way up to his earlobes. It looks ridiculous. So I think I have to, just so I can have a Tom Holland head sculpt.
So you're going without the head sculpt?
In my Iron Spider?
Oh, and the Iron Spider. I'm sorry. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah. So that's why I feel like I have to buy this one because I want a Tom Holland head sculpt somewhere over here, but I can't do it on the Iron Spider. So I feel like I'm forced to buy this. They know they got me.
We just have to think too, like we didn't even consider the possibility that they make an artisan of him. Like I did, because they already have an amazing head sculpt here. He has a decent head of hair. I think you could do it. It's not Thor, but look, Spider-Man sells from my knowledge. I mean, as far as what I can see and what, of course, gets views on YouTube, like Spider-Man, people pay attention. People care about their Spider-Man shit. He's a very popular superhero. So they could very easily, this head sculpt's already incredible, but maybe they make another version with an artisan and you have this one. I don't know, but that could be something they do down the line. Maybe it's a fourth film thing. When Spider-Man 4 comes out, they do one. I don't know, right? But
what about Miles? So, and I know this hasn't really been explored by any company, but if they're using, depending on what type of fabric they're using, and I think they're using wool right now. So to make a very short fro, I don't know how difficult it would be from the curling, from the styling, but I feel like they could potentially use a certain textured wool to do that. And especially if you're making it very short, that would be a very easy lift, I think. I would love to see a Miles or a Chadwick Boseman, right? Some form of very short wool style. That would be I don't know, I'm not an artist, but I think that would be an easier lift than trying to do straight hair because it's just poofy. I think like the Hulk, you could probably do it because he looks wild and out of control. Yeah. But no other character would have it would need to be very tame. I would love to see that. I would buy that in a heartbeat.
Dude, that's a good one, Natalie. Like Chadwick Artisan.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, they could do that right properly.
Yeah, if they could do that properly and update the head sculpt, and then, of course, you've already done the original suit 2.0, do the other suit from the main film, and then make it an artisan. I think that would be pretty cool. I mean, it does tie into what Keco said though about the mask, with Captain America. A lot of people might use the Black Panther, but if you're going to buy the Artisan Black Panther T'Challa, you're going to use the head sculpt, right? I mean, that's just
right.
So,
right.
But man, that would be pretty cool. Actually, that'd be pretty dope.
Yeah, and I always wondered if they would do, or since they've announced these, I wondered if they would do any sort of Artisan where they introduced, just like with the Hulk, where they had like the power pose top portion of the body.
Mm-hmm.
What would it look like if they introduced some insane version of your figure, but then they had some things just like with Joker with the wrists? There's interchangeable posing. That could be an easy addition to Artisan. It doesn't just have to be hair. Like, how great would it be if you had a Spider-Man that you can put the arm out and it does the curvature of the arm with the web coming out, right? An easy attachable thing. Then it doesn't need to be rooted hair. It can be the additional pieces that makes it Artisan and not necessarily the hair.
Yeah, that makes sense. It could be. But guys, thank you so much for your thoughts on this one. I think Spider-Man, look, he's a hot one. People always love Spider-Man no matter what.
So hot right now.
Dude, so hot. Hansel's so hot right now. That's what Spider-Man's always hot, bro. It doesn't matter the time. It doesn't matter if there's films coming out. Spider-Man's a hot commodity, bro. Just always. So even Antioch, bro. And even the what's it called? The Iron Spider from the video game. But that said, guys, thank you so much for your thoughts. Hey, Spider-Man's cool, man. Spider-Man's cool. I like Spider-Man. So we did get a super chat though from Mr. Nick's Collectibles. Thank you so much, bro. He said, do I even need to say my answer to this question? Well, it's the pizza scooter. It's the pizza scooter Toby that doesn't exist. And then that would be Nick's favorite. But I mean, it's got to be Toby for Nick. I mean, clearly. I mean, that figure's waitlisted actually. So it's pretty interesting. Maybe that's another one, Natalie, where, we told people no po at the time, but circumstances have changed. And now we're at the point where it's like, well, you know what? Fucking this Spider-Man, if you want it, like red, I think the red and blue suit is whitelisted too, from my recollection. So I think, these Spider-Men,
right.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. Everybody was saying no po, dopo. Like if it's a game-changing concept that's being introduced, you have to make your own decision on whether or not you want to do that. Just because someone says, hey, go ahead. Don't worry, that cliff right there is only a couple feet. Go ahead and jump. You've got to take a look first before you actually do it. So you can't blame other people for your own decisions. But I do think heeding and following blindly are different, right? Definitely heed.
Right. It does make sense.
My opinion.
It does make sense. Well, guys, thank you so much, Nick, bro. Appreciate it, guys. Check out Nick's Collectibles. A lot of good content over there. And of course on Insta and all that good stuff with his awesome photography. But guys, that's going to be our show. Thank you so much for joining. There's been a lot of great thoughts shared this evening, especially in the chat. You guys have been killing it in the chat. Make sure to hit the subscribe button if you like the content. Make sure to hit the like button down below before you leave for the weekend and all that good stuff. That said, Mr. Keco Collects, bro, thank you so much for joining, man. What's coming up? I know you got some content planned for the people.
We sure do. And go ahead and talking to Nick again, because apparently he missed the original one. He said he missed me when I apologized to him. So Nick, if you're still listening, I do apologize for influencing you. So go back in the thread and rewatch. I keep saying threads. Go back and rewatch the clip when Will posts this one. I talk directly about how I need to be more careful with some of the things I say because I feel bad for what I did to you. So Nick, good to see you, man. So what's coming up on the channel? We just posted today on the TikTok, on the Reel, on the YouTube. Just a real quick little 30-second, the Willy Wonka Pure Imagination reel of kind of just showing a quick little collection tour, if you will, of showing kind of what we have. And hey, more's coming. We would love to be able to do like small little features of things in the collection. So that's kind of a little bit what that was. But as you can see that thumbnail, if you have not seen the rant about the epic meltdown about the Artisan series thing, please check that out on YouTube. I'm everywhere. Just don't check me on Threads because I don't go there. Certainly don't care about that. But it's been an absolute pleasure. Drago loves being with us every single week. I don't think there's been a time where he's not been on the show.
There he is.
There you go.
He fucking knows his name.
He knows. He knows. But,
he knows what you're talking about.
We always have fun, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course, man. Thanks as always for joining and be my awesome co-host. Nat G, is there anything you want to plug, anything you want to talk about? We appreciate you joining. I mean, bringing that perspective that you offer, just awesome. People loved you last time. They loved you this time. You're killing it. You asked about the audio quality. I think it's good, guys. Give Nat a pat on the back. Her audio quality is fine. She was worried about it a little bit before we started. It's great. Her ideas are great. Natalie, is there anything you want to bring up to the people?
So yeah, I guess I got to figure something out with this audio. I know everybody says it's great, but I listened to Will on his like $2,000 microphone, and
it's $400 to be
whatever. I'm I'm pretty sure he made a deal with somebody for that.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Sponsoring me, that would be great.
A deal with the devil.
Yeah, pretty much. No, so I didn't want to butt hurt anyone, but I did get my Artisan Anakin. So
I saw that. I was excited for you.
I'm happy. So I will at the very least, if Will ever invites me back, which I'm sure he will. I mean, come on, guys.
Yeah, no doubt.
But I will eventually come back, and I promise next time I will have better microphone. And then, of course, I just wanted to say thank you to you guys, and thank you to everybody in the chat. I don't come on to these sort of things ever, and I barely am on the, as Keco said, the Twitter, the Instagram, and the Facebook.
Grego.
But sorry, I'm just gonna mute now.
Dude, I need to get a dog, bro, because I'm clearly the odd man out in this whole situation.
I don't even know how to mute myself.
I could probably mute you if need be. There you go. But yeah, thank you so much, Natalie, for joining. Thank you, Keco, for joining. Guys, of course, make sure to subscribe. Like I mentioned, click the like button. Lots of great content coming your way on this channel. Things are going to be ramping up pretty shortly. So I'm really excited about that. So yeah, I made an announcement, a deal with 1/6 Kit, got the deal with Comic Concept. So things are exciting. Things are evolving and growing. So lots of great stuff coming at you. There's going to be some live streams. Maybe even this Sunday. There might be something this Sunday with PJ and Optical and I, bringing back the old Feet crew. So that's going to be pretty fun. And then there's a stream planned for next week that I don't want to give away yet, but it should be pretty exciting. So anyway, guys, like I said, check out the content on Keco's channel. Check out Natalie G when she eventually makes her own channel. And then we'll talk about some other stuff. And of course, all the other stuff that I've put up lately. You'll see some more content here and there. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and your Friday. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out. See you later. Bye. Bye.